Presidential candidate Joe Biden is making his way to the Triangle today. Details on where he'll be speaking later on. Confederate monument unrest in Pittsburgh escalates to more arrests on Saturday, what two protesters are accused of doing during this weekend's rally. And over in Fayetteville, dozens protest outside Comores, why they say they're continuing to fight even after the company signed a consent agreement with the state. A 4-year-old child is dead and multiple others hurt in a two-car crash. Hear from residents in the area that say bad crashes like this aren't at all uncommon. A ban on smokable hemp is in the works. What this could mean for those that use it and how business owners are responding. And
be ready for the big opening.
A new pop-up is opening up in downtown Raleigh today with a unique twist. Details on the partnership that's opening doors to the opportunity. Live on Spectrum News this morning, President Donald Trump is holding a news conference. Last night he posted something big has just happened. Let's listen in.
Daring nighttime raid in northwestern Syria and accomplished their mission in grand style.
Happening today, Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden will make a campaign stop in Durham. He will be at a community event at Hillside High School on Fayetteville Road. Doors open there at 4 p.m. and Spectrum News anchor Tim Boyum will sit down for a one-on-one interview with the former vice president at the event. We'll have full coverage later this afternoon. Two people in Pittsburgh arrested for inciting a riot after protests continued over a Confederate statue. The Chatham County Board of Commissioners recently voted to reaffirm their decision to remove the statue in front of the Chatham County Courthouse. They are considering it a public trespass if the United Daughters of the Confederacy don't remove it by November 1st. In response, the UDC filed a lawsuit for a temporary restraining order and injunction against the Board of Commissioners. Protests have been going on for weeks regarding the decision to remove the statue, and on Saturday, they continued with several protesters waving Confederate flags.
We're now getting a look at the damage and cleanup efforts on Hatteras as some re-entry is being allowed on the island. In this drone video, you can see some of the roads were blocked off, but also the flooding is going way into the residential areas. Spectrum News reporter Ryan Breslin is live in Hatteras Village. And Ryan, tell us what you're seeing out there.
This family having to throw out their couch, lawnmowers, as well as their stove, a refrigerator, and even more. Now, they tell us that that is because the home itself got about 2 feet of water inside of it. Now, we want to show you some of that video from inside as they were cleaning out today. We also know that they say that it's not uncommon for this family to get this kind of flooding.
Over in the Outer Banks, one of the areas hit worst by Hurricane Dorian, more and more people are slowly being let back onto the barrier islands. Spectrum News reporter Madison Cavalcuri joins us live, and she's been traveling throughout trying to see some of the recovery efforts. Madison, about an hour ago we checked in, and you were seeing just the amount of sand that had been pushed out from the islands. Where are you at now, and what are we seeing?
Well, Tim, we're still over here in Rodanthe, and pretty much that's the extent of what we've seen so far. Just some flooding on the roads, puddling on the sides, but all of that sand is probably the worst of it. But right now we're here at the Cape Hatteras Baptist Church, where we have several groups that are getting ready to help people on the ground.
Some of the most widespread damage our crews are seeing in the Outer Banks is, surprisingly, the sand. Portions of Highway 12 are coated in it, and take a look at this swimming pool packed with sand. Look, you couldn't get in that. Residents here are finally allowed to come home, but they'll have a lot of cleaning up to do. This is one of the reasons it's so difficult to get through the Outer Banks right now. NCDOT reports 2 500-foot sections of road are in this condition on Ocracoke, which will need some serious repair. Cleanup from Dorian is underway in Emerald Isle. Saturday, Governor Roy Cooper visited the site of a tornado touchdown, which destroyed homes in an RV park. Cooper said he believes the mandatory evacuations in the area was a factor in the park being so empty when the tornado came.
I've gotten the impression, too, this is a very close-knit community. Everybody knows everybody, and people who were not affected are here helping everybody else.
Even though some homes were flipped upside down, there were only minor injuries to residents.
Fayetteville police are investigating the cause of a two-car crash that left a 4-year-old child dead in Fayetteville yesterday afternoon. It happened just after 3:30 on Gillis Road. Police say multiple people were hurt and had to be taken to Cape Fear Valley Medical Center. People who live close to the accident say that traffic here is very heavy.
It's been pretty dangerous. It's got a number of sharp turn curves, and we've had a lot of people come off before and take out signs and mailboxes along here, roll and flip, but first fatality in a long time.
So far, the names of the victims have not yet been released. Neighbors say they cannot believe the key to a 15-year-old cold case might have been in their own backyards. Nash County deputies say they believe they found the remains of Deborah Deans near a home on Wiley Road. Deans disappeared from Rocky Mount back in 2004. Kimberly Hancock now faces a first-degree murder charge in Dean's death. Neighbors say they had issues with Hancock, but they never thought authorities would allegedly find a body on her property. ECU is looking for their next interim chancellor. This after Dan Gerlach recently submitted his resignation, effective immediately. Gerlach was put on administrative leave last month after pictures and videos surfaced showing him at two popular bars in Greenville. Accusers say the photos show inappropriate contact with ECU students, but Gerlach received a lot of support over the course of the investigation. In his resignation letter, Gerlach says he, quote, did not live up to these standards as well as the UNC system standards that demand excellent judgment and discretion from the campus leaders, end quote. The Comores Gen X saga is far from over. A group of protesters wanted to send that message Saturday. They held their gathering near the Comores plant near Fayetteville. The roughly 50 people, many who live nearby, want to get their water from a municipal source. That's after the last 2 years where the state found that Comores had been discharging the Gen X chemical into the Cape Fear River. While that's no longer happening, many residents still feel using water from their homes is a problem.
That they just got their test results for their well, and it came back with astronomical amounts of Gen X or PFAS. And they just wonder what this corporation will do with getting them clean water. And the answer is it's very little.
It is unknown how exposure to Gen X affects people, though tests with lab animals have resulted in tumors. Last year, Comores reached a consent agreement with the state, agreeing to pay $12 million, but denying any wrongdoing. A ban on smokable hemp in North Carolina could be approved next week. The Farm Bill, which is set for a vote in the General Assembly Monday, includes a ban on smokable hemp starting next June. Police say it's too difficult to differentiate in the field between smokable hemp and actual marijuana. The owner of a local hemp company says he's concerned but not worried.
Because the federal judge who declared Indiana's ban on smokable hemp unconstitutional, it really just doesn't seem like it would ever end up getting anywhere legally in North Carolina.
The bill could be approved next week, and if the governor signs it, the ban would take effect next June. Some patients using smokable hemp for medical reasons say this potential ban would impact their daily lives.
When it was at its worst, I would take this many pills a day.
Melissa Ebert has lupus and other medical conditions. She turned to hemp after she said opioids made her feel physically out of control. She tells us she likes to smoke naturally grown hemp flower rather than oils or edibles. It looks similar to marijuana, but doesn't have the THC, the compound in marijuana that gets you high.
Therapeutically, you're getting the benefits better when you smoke it than I would say sublingual, at least for me.
The state is considering a ban on hemp flower because of its visual similarities to pot. Today is Drug Take Back Day, and for the first time ever, authorities are taking items from a new epidemic, vaping. And all take-back events associated with the Drug Enforcement Administration will accept vaping devices and cartridges, as well as tablets, capsules, patches, and other medications in solid forms. Thursday, the CDC reported there are around 1,600 cases of lung disease believed to be linked to vaping. At least 34 people have died, including one right here in North Carolina. You have from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. to drop off the drugs or devices. And to find a take-back location near you, just head to our website. The State Fair continues to attract many from all over. People brave the crowds to experience everything from the rides to the food. North Carolina State Fair has been home to Al's French fries for the past 60 years. Libby Jennings travels an hour just to experience a piece of her childhood.
Every time I come to the fair, that's the first thing I go for is Al's French fries. If I don't eat anything else today, I'm getting Al's.
The attendance has exceeded last year's expectations with more than 630,000 visitors. The fair ends Sunday night at 11 p.m. A new pop-up business is making its debut today in downtown Raleigh. New businesses in Raleigh are opening up all the time, but this grand opening is extra significant for the owner. The Nutty Bavarian, which sells roasted Bavarian nuts, pecans, and almonds, is the first pop-up tenant born out of a new partnership between Downtown Raleigh Alliance and Wake Tech. The goal of the partnership is to provide opportunities for minority and women entrepreneurs like Nutty Bavarian owner Stephanie Williams in downtown Raleigh.
I'm a native of Raleigh, so to see where, we have come so far, it's definitely grown over the years. And I am excited to be here and excited to be a part of what's to come.
The Nutty Bavarian also does business at Crabtree Valley Mall and will open a new location next spring at the Durham Bulls Athletic Park. Chapel Hill librarians hope to soon erase late fees and fines for overdue books. An advisory board submitted a petition dropping those penalties for the next fiscal year. Board members believe those fees can deter low-income visitors from checking out materials, but they want to come up with other policies to ensure books are returned promptly. Other cities like New York, Chicago, and Detroit have adopted the fine-free model.
Well, we've seen from our research that other major cities throughout the United States that have gone to this model have seen an increase in circulation, an increase in people visiting the library.
Town leaders will now consider the proposal. They have to conduct their own research and public hearings before voting on it.
He saw this lady run out of her truck that was on fire.
A North Carolina bus driver rushes towards flames billowing out of a vehicle. We're hearing from one bus passenger about the intense moments that now has the driver being called a hero.